What's up, Maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, a wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac if you win. And today we are talking about who wins the WWE Championship at Hell in a Cell. Last night we had the contract signing between Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley eventually came down to the ring following Drew McIntyre's story on Scottish history, which I don't think quite went over. Lashley and MVP devised this plan that basically a stipulation added to this match will be that if Lashley is to retain, that is Drew McIntyre's last opportunity at the title. Drew McIntyre said, "I accept," and he also said he wants a match where there is no interference, and that is the Hell in a Cell match itself. So Lashley versus McIntyre in the Hell in a Cell at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. The question now is who will leave that pay-per-view and into the post-pandemic era when fans are coming back as the WWE Champion. We're going to talk about it in just a second, so stay tuned. Right here at WrestleManiac UK, I discuss everything that's WWE and AEW. So if this sounds like the place for you, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into it. Who wins the WWE Championship at Hell in a Cell? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make two arguments for why either man here could walk out as the champion or should walk out as the champion. So I'm going to say Lashley should retain because I feel like right now Drew McIntyre isn't really connecting with the fans. I spoke about this last week in my video where I said Kofi Kingston should have maybe gone on to face Bobby Lashley in this particular match. I don't think Drew McIntyre is connecting as much as he was with the fans when he went over and won the WWE Championship for the first time. Yes, there isn't actually fans in the arena and that will be a better gauge to know. But from what I can see online, Drew McIntyre isn't the face that the company think he is. He is just not that baby face anymore. He is still a baby face, but he's just not connecting on that, supreme baby face level. Let Lashley continue this run because if Drew McIntyre isn't quite connecting because they don't know how to really build a baby face, then why are we going to disrupt probably what has been one of the best things on Raw this year, from the Hurt Business to actually winning the WWE Championship and getting rid of the Hurt Business to walking into WrestleMania and defending that championship and walking out of WrestleMania still WWE Champion. Lashley really deserves everything he has been given thus far, and I don't really see why we should end it for an experiment which isn't really working at the moment. Last but not least, Lashley retaining the WWE Championship could help build towards the rumored match of Lesnar versus Lashley at SummerSlam. And you can see the smile that come across my face because this is the match I know not just myself, we have all been waiting for such a long time. With the WWE Championship in the mix, it just gives it that extra bit of sauce, that extra bit of sprinkling of seasoning that it could need. So Lashley versus Lesnar with the WWE Championship would be absolutely brilliant if that was on the line, and that could be something that they have in mind and why Lashley should retain the WWE Championship here. So my arguments for Drew winning are kind of counter to what I've just said. Drew is one of the faces of the company. He is behind, as a face of the company, he is obviously behind Roman Reigns. But he is one of the faces, and obviously being away from Roman over on Raw, he is the top guy over there. And I hate to say it, even with Lashley holding the WWE Championship, Drew is the top guy, whether we like to kind of admit it or not. It is Drew McIntyre. WWE may want a big babyface champion as crowds return to arenas in the next month or so. So putting the title on Drew McIntyre would be just the perfect thing, as Drew never got that big crowd reaction after becoming WWE champion. If they believe that Drew is the big babyface that they think he is, that's what they want. Put a babyface champion in front of a hot crowd once the crowds return, and they may get the reaction and we could all be wrong. Maybe Drew is still as over as anything. I don't think so, but that's probably what WWE want to do. Like I just touched on, this will probably also go towards compensating Drew for not getting to have that first WWE Championship in front of a live crowd and have that year that he had last year with fans cheering him on. Obviously, he did that through the pandemic era where it was mainly just WWE, NXT superstars at ringside. Eventually, the whole Thunderdome thing got put together. But yeah, he didn't ever do any of this in front of a live crowd. He's only performed in front of a live crowd at the last WrestleMania, which he didn't beat Lashley at. So this could be a thank you to Drew for all his hard work in the last year and give him that run as champion in front of crowds as he thought he was going to get in the first place. I also think the stipulation of Lashley saying that this is your last chance, you can't ever face me for the championship again, kind of gives away the fact that, yeah, Drew has to win on this occasion, because I guess other than that, he gets transferred over to SmackDown in the upcoming draft. But is he gonna beat Roman Reigns right now in Roman Reigns' form? I'm not so sure. So yeah, Drew probably picks up the title at Hell in a Cell. And last but not least, Drew McIntyre lost the WWE Championship last year at Hell in a Cell against Randy Orton. This could also be WWE wanting to avenge that loss with Drew winning the WWE Championship now in Hell in a Cell against Bobby Lashley. So after weighing up both sides of the argument, I'm probably going to predict a Drew win here. Like I said, Drew is the perceived babyface of the company. They're going to want him to be carrying their big prestigious title, going back in front of crowds. It makes sense, I guess, and I hope with the crowd coming back we get renewed storylines. Drew gets loads of new challengers and it really sets alight his championship run, which kind of dwindled towards the end of the first run last year just because there was nothing new going on. I don't think Lashley will retain here, but I think he will be kind of compensated with finally getting that big match against Lesnar at SummerSlam, marquee match which doesn't really need the title, to be honest. If Lashley was to go and defend the title against Brock Lesnar, I don't think he'll do anything for Brock Lesnar per se, so they can just have a one-off kind of exhibition match of just sheer brutality, which we all want to see. Is Drew winning what I want to see? Probably not, but like I say, Drew is one of the faces of this current era. Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Sasha Banks, those are the names that, you know, WWE are really hanging their hat on these days. So it makes sense for Drew to get the win. Let me know down below in the comments who you think is going to walk out of Hell in a Cell as the WWE champion. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.